live. I love live. I would not have said that a number of months back, but now I love it because I'm used to being in person with people, and phone calls happen and dogs bark. And we live in an apartment, and I've left a note saying, please do not come in. Because we got the notice saying we will be coming into all the units between it's a 9-hour window. And I'm just like, please don't come in until after 10. And I've done all I can to batten down the hatches to make sure that I don't end up having to run to the front door. And I'm so grateful to my hubby producer, Scott. Oh, and Cynthia, just to let you know, and she might be able to hear.
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, good. So we've gone live, and I was saying, I love live because this is normal. You're going to get a phone call, and people will come in partway through. It's not so much an interview. I mean, even like Sri and I were in the same restaurant and couldn't find each other. And so he sent a message, and I'm like,
Starbucks nearby, or just
I thought I was so obvious because I use my hands and I talk so loud. And so, but we actually got together in Austin just week before last. So, Sri, Betsy hasn't met you. Can you introduce yourself and like have this opportunity for you to say what it is that you have created that's just another bridge over all these creeks and streams and rivers that we have to bounce over as we continue to age, as we continue to live. What is it that you've developed? So far, they only know that you're in Austin.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Hi, Betsy and Cynthia. I'm Sri Chintala. I'm a technology founder. My background is in technology. I've been there for 28 years or so. What I have created is a simple, conversational, secure, and affordable estate planning tool using ChatGPT. Kind of oversimplifying it, that's what my legacy is. So people can go to the chatbot, ask their questions related to estate planning. Do I need a will or a trust, or why do I need something? And it will answer to the most of the questions. And that would be the entry into the estate planning, people who haven't done it. And then we also bring in a lot of tools that we have built in safeguarding your digital assets, your online accounts, crypto assets, create stuff like a marketplace for you to find tools and attorneys in a nutshell.
So AI, it gets talked about a lot. I know it's a tool. I know it's a tool that has been used for quite a while, but specifically, Sri, it sounds like this isn't already a common usage for Chat GPT for someone to interact with. Does it ask the person questions when they do they log on the computer, or do they call a phone number? I realize you're not that company. It's companies that you have created it for. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to use your browser, just like any Chat GPT engine. We haven't enabled this to the audio version of it yet, maybe down the road. Current version, it won't ask questions, it'll respond, but we are working on making it a two-way conversation. Let's say if you go to the chatbot and say, hey, I need help with estate planning, it should come back and say, sure, I'm here to help you. What do you need specifically? So it'll kind of guide the users to ask specific questions based on what they're interacting with and collect the information and then respond back. So it kind of our vision is to mimic more like a human style conversation, but with the chatbot.
I just want to make sure that I acknowledge that Steve Berger, who has just been such an encouragement to me. Steve Berger is greeting us from Naples, Florida. Hi again, Steve. I think I keep saying I should just have you back on the show because it was so long ago. And I want to know what you're doing because if I have Sri back on the show in a year, he will tell me what else he's developed or what the companies are asking for or how this has helped people. But yes, to not feel like you're either spending important money or important time talking to someone who's very important, that you're almost nervous for, like, am I going to ask the right questions? Here's just a friendly group of words saying, I'm here to help you. And, in that situation, it is this, or you can choose from these. I just remember Michael Ublowski's wife said that she just loves to, and our pastor, Mike Miller, says that they love to get into Chat GPT AI conversations because they're so polite and it's so informational. And they're just like, I'm thinking of making dinner, but I have my main ingredients are these vegetables, these potatoes, and then I have some leftovers of this. Do you have a suggestion? And here comes this, have you heard of, and gives them an idea. Have you heard of frittatas? You could choose to blah blah blah. And they're just like, I love talking to these because no one's wrinkling their nose going, what? You can't make any meals with that. It's drawing upon so much information and giving you intelligent but polite responses. I'm really glad you developed this. Estate planning is personal and it's big and it's emotional because you're talking about your own end of life at the same time. How can I ask you about just how this started, or in your life, how did you end up? What was your path to this point?
Oh, that's a long conversation, but we'll try to simplify it. So a few years ago, I had to deal with the demise of my father. That was one thought going through my mind on how to deal with this. And I was on the road all the time. Every week I used to go out to the client site and so on. And I always worried that if I don't come back home, how does my family deal with my account?
Oh my goodness, this really did start from a emotion.
The phones, the laptops, all our stuff is on the cloud or somewhere in the devices. So if something happens to me, my family may not have access to any of those devices unless I share something with them, hoping that they would do it. So that's how we got started in putting something together online the last 3 years ago. And then one thing led to another. Now here we are with the My Legacy, making it easy and affordable for everyone to use the platform.
Family. I'm gonna swing right up on the screen to Betsy, because you and I had an opportunity to talk before. And before that, probably for a year, we crisscrossed in comments on LinkedIn or, watched a similar person, announce that they had created this. And I'm just going, she's gotten into this podcasting thing. I know she knows how to be on screen. I would like to know her a little bit more. And I really did get to know you a lot better because you're so open, Betsy, and you're so willing to just place it out there. You actually sent me a message in the last 48 hours saying, I'm thinking about talking about this personal subject. And I'm just going to ask you, do you still want to talk about that?
Sure. Thank you for having me on again, Christine. Nice to meet you,
Love it.
Sheree, and nice to see you in person, Cynthia, on video. My mom passed away last month, 2 weeks short of her 94th birthday. My mom was in a facility for 2 years and very alert. My mother's very alert, very friendly, warm person. One aide in particular, my mother complained about. Now, my mom is from the time that you don't complain. You don't speak up. You be a little girl and you be quiet. You don't cause any waves. So for my mom to complain 3 times to my brother about this person, you know something's up. And my brother called whoever was the director of nursing about the situation. And he said, my mom gets along with everybody. For my mom to complain, this person has to be really not nice. And I'm proud of my mom. I was proud of my mom for speaking up. Of course, she didn't want me to call up because I would have embarrassed her. Because my mom knows I will cause a tsunami. I'm a mom. And I will fight and I will advocate. I did it for my husband. Now, my mom could speak up. What about the people who can't speak up? Who speaks for them? And this is a situation, my mom didn't want to see this person fired, but maybe this person needs some sensitivity training, some training to deal with people who are elderly. Maybe she shouldn't be working in that environment if she can't handle it. But the woman obviously needed some kind of training, and my mom wasn't the only one who complained about this person. And we had to speak up when there's justice, or things will not change. Thank you for letting me share that story, Christine.
So I smiled at the wrong time. Your story is terribly familiar for a lot of families. I smiled because Jill has just been able to join us and on the screen, and I'm really, really glad for her. I know that she has gone extra miles. In fact, she literally may have driven some miles to be able to get on here. Betsy, there's the reason that you came into the podcast. Did it also have to do with your mom, or was it more your husband that caused you to create your own platform and be Frank and be Betsy and and empower people to be an advocate? Or was it mostly your husband, or was your mom part of the reason as well?
No, it was my husband. I never got into my car and put my face on social media and started to talk about early onset Alzheimer's and to raise awareness. And I would show Matt's picture. Matt was 56 when he was diagnosed, and talk about what we went through. And I talked about caregiving, and I put down different support groups. And Jeannie White, who's station manager at Passion World Talk Radio Network, saw one of my videos and discovered me. I never would have imagined interviewing people because people don't believe this, but I'm actually very shy in person.
Oh.
But
unless you have a cause, then
when it comes to caregiving and causes, I cannot keep my mouth shut. And I advocate for Matt from the beginning of his diagnosis to get a diagnosis, to getting decent end of life care. And they thought they were dealing with this quiet, petite woman, And when they realized I'm a mama bear and I'm going to fight for my husband, and I did cause waves in that hospice. You do not disrespect my husband, and you don't disrespect me and get away with it. I will not tolerate that. And they found that out real quick.
I'm just championing that you listened. This matches something that I was hearing on, it's usually Abby Ritchie's show, Tech Tuesday, having to do with age tech. And for me on the Pacific Coast, it's 10:30 a.m. every Tuesday, Tech Tuesday. She was away, so her colleague, Steve Moran, I had invited in, what's his name? I got it right here. John Saffae, Sahfaee. And he described a situation that he has, like Sri, a technology that takes in information from people who are residing in a place where they are cared for. Either food is, meals are provided, or all the way to full 24/7 personal care. And a person was complaining, asking for more pain meds than ever before. And that was noted in their form of AI. And this wonderful John person says that there are meetings every week to point out, there's red flags that are popping up. And the question is, why are the frequency of complaining happening? Not how do we stop this person from complaining, or, yep, they've kind of came in 2 years ago that way, so we just figure they want attention. All of that. This is a person. This is a human being. You don't disregard them because of a disease or a number of years of age. So they aggressively advocated for that person because the AI said there are changes here, changes that would cause this person to say, I'm not happy here. So you might lose one of your residents, and that gets balls and things rolling as well. And it turns out that a fall some number of weeks before had not been thoroughly investigated, and there was a fracture in a bone, which at different ages, it would be like, there's something still wrong with me. And maybe that person would advocate for themselves. So I'm really grateful for people who advocate, for people who use AI, chat GPT, use their brain, use their knowledge that a person is a person, no matter what other characteristics you put around them, to pursue what is going on, because more pain meds was reducing their quality of life. Pain was reducing their quality of life. And Betsy, I just can't believe it that at age 56, you had to start this. Well, I wouldn't have believed it except for my opportunity to be a hired caregiver and to listen in the homes of the people that I was brought in to assist, listen to the families talk about, we knew something was going on years before a diagnosis. It was already starting to change. And Cynthia, I want to make sure that I swing around to you and say, Cynthia, you created something that I got to see right in my own town, and you were here right in my own town. I literally walked down the stairs, which are there, and walked up the street and walked into the local cinema, the only one in our combined town that has now received Oregon AARP designation as an age-friendly community, which means we've got more work to do, and we have their backing and their knowledge to continue forward as a community to make sure that we are more aware and more open and more, I want to use that word again, aggressive, to make sure that we're asking people, does this community, how does it serve you right? And how could it serve you better as you continue to age, or as you are the loved one of someone who is facing a common or an uncommon challenge that's typically age related. So you have had personal encounters with people who had diagnoses at all different ages, but their family and their friends and their doctors and their loved ones are all different ages as well, dealing with things. So, Cynthia, I'm going to try to say it right. You tell me if I do. Here it comes. It's keys, bags, names, words.
That is right.
Hooray! Okay, your turn. Tell me those 4 words and your interactions with people challenged by age-related situations, and also meeting the challenge and solving and enriching people who are challenged.
Yeah, so Keys, Bags, Names, Words is a documentary film that I made, well, our whole team made with the Global Brain Health Institute, which is based in San Francisco and Trinity College, Dublin. They have a fellows program where people come from all over the world who are working in some area of brain health. And they come to San Francisco and Trinity College Dublin to study brain health for a year and to develop pilot projects that they then can take home to their communities in their hometowns and hopefully scale them up. And it's not just doctors and scientists, but also artists and architects and economists and policy people. And so, every 3 seconds, somebody new develops dementia. And so this is a global problem for societies, for families, for economies. And so they're trying to create this global network of people really trying to help families and build awareness, lessen stigma, try to tell people what they can do. And that's really what our film is about. It is an intimate profile of families facing this. And Jill Harmon will talk to you later. She is very graciously agreed to be in our film with her husband, Don, and just a beautiful, touching story. Jill's an amazing person and caregiver and very wise and has a lot to share with people. So very intimate profiles, but also we hear from experts who tell us what we can do to prevent. 30 to 40% of cases can be prevented. So what are the strategies for all of us to really support our brain health? What are the strategies if you've had a diagnosis to live the highest quality of life you can, because there is a lot you can do. And so just we wanted to show kind of that duality of the how heartbreaking this disease is, but also some of the beautiful moments that you can have connecting with your loved one, maybe even if they can't remember who you are anymore. How do we connect as essential human beings? So the film is really, it doesn't shy away from the difficulties, but it really, it is a hopeful film. So so that's what we're doing. It's in 30 countries now. It's been translated into 7 languages. So it's really getting around. Yeah. Thank you.
That is wonderful. And Jill, you are in empathetic company. You're in good company today. Betsy had sent a message, and it was just last month, Betsy, that your mom passed away, and for those years that you were her advocate and you were her spunky daughter. And then before that, her husband. And Sri was kind enough to answer my question as I asked how he came to this point of developing an estate planning tool that probably would be gentler for a lot of people who are just not ready to deal with estate planning, coming from his father and his father's passing, and then Sri traveling a lot for his job and thinking about his own family and realizing they need this information, because I'm thinking that Sri is younger than I am. 56 is a lot younger than I am, Betsy, to get a diagnosis like that. But he's thinking right now. I do. I have been told by several people the best time to start planning the rest of your life is when you're 18, because your parents don't get to make decisions for you anymore. So 18 is when you want to know all your meds and your health history, and even fill out a, do resuscitate form and just have that all ready, because legal adults can keep their information private if they've already got, financial accounts and social media accounts. It's like, who should take care of this? Not just if I pass away, but if I become in some way incapacitated and it's not known if this is temporary, long-term, or even permanent, to just let people know, give them access to where they can find passwords and your papers and digital papers, etc. So, Jill, I saw you. You were on the big screen at the cinema. I remember just every moment I was breathing with you. I actually had a blanket over my lap and over the laps of some of the volunteers who use the local senior center as a place of social connection and knowledge and purpose, contribution, etc. And we all kept that. I think we needed a blanket to kind of clutch during that entire documentary, Cynthia, that you put together. Oh my goodness. So Jill, you have done so much just to come into this moment. What comes to your mind first, second, and third?
Well, I'm thankful to be on the screen and being able to support this effort, because the message does need to get out. The support needs to get out. The hope needs to get out. The strategies need to get out. The connections need to get out. And I'm just a small part of this. I'm just a human being that went through a beautiful but very deeply emotional journey. I'm a better person for having gone through that. My husband was 58 when we got the diagnosis, and he said, there's something wrong with my head. And it was very tough trying to figure out what exactly was happening to him, because the progression can be so immediate and then yet be so silent. And you give it lots of attributes and you don't know. I just didn't know. That was 17 years ago now. I keep adding the 3 years he's been gone on top of the 14 that we lived. We just didn't have the resources and the understanding that people have. And that's why we all need to keep talking about this. And Cynthia's film, oh my gosh, I am so grateful to be a part of that. And if I can help anyone, I want to do that. I'm not sure which theater. Were you at the Vogue in San Francisco or Saratoga or Oakland?
So
Where were you?
I'm in Independence, Oregon, and the tiny city of
Okay.
Independence and the tiny
Oh,
city
okay.
of Monmouth have one
Okay.
theater, and so that's where we were. And Cynthia, Walt was there.
Was that
Yeah.
that great huge place with the IMAX screen?
No,
Portland.
no.
It's just south of Portland a little bit, Jill.
Oh, okay. It was the one that you went to
Mhm.
with earlier. Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's good, because they did have us on the IMAX screen and in Portland, and it was quite large to see yourself.
I think of IMAX as that
like
they.
us on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jill,
it's that big
Jill
one
has,
downtown. Oh my God.
Yes.
Jill has so many
Yeah.
important things to share with people. Jill, what do you like people to take away from your experience?
All right. The one thing that a strategy that I think is real significant is you're taking them out when they get wanting and not that you wander away what they're wearing. They always talk about how we were a Trader Joe's.
Jill, I have to be rude and interrupt you. I'm so sorry, Jill. For some reason, it's getting chunky again and the picture has frozen. Jill, Cynthia, I saw you blink. So, Cynthia, do you know what she was going to say? You two have had interactions before, including on Betsy's podcast.
Yeah, so I think one of what Jill was just
not yet, Jill. Not it. We can hear sounds, but we can't hear you quite yet. You're moving again. Jill, talk. Go for it. Oh, I was wrong.
okay.
Um,
Also, I think what I was saying was one of the strategies she found was really helpful. Don used to wander a lot, and so she would take a picture of him every morning every time they would go out. She would take a picture of him because he would wander off, and she would be able to show the picture. But Jill uses so much humor in her. You know, people think of dementia and they think, oh, it's so tragic, and it is. But she would find humor, and she would take opportunities to connect with her husband in a really beautiful way, and make him laugh, and they would share so much together through humor. And are you there, Jill?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, it's working. Go ahead. What else did you want to share?
Oh, okay. So you can hear me. Anyhow, I was just saying that it was during Christmas, and here I'm describing somebody in red with gray hair in Trader Joe's. Okay, that went over like a big rock as we ran around looking for Don. The picture helped so much because you can't remember what they're wearing usually. And then it helps, for people to address their wandering. I also put they have air tags now and whatnot, but this was again, remember, 14, 15 years ago, and I just put one of those key tags on it too, and you just see it very or whatever.
So, Cynthia, as Jill's connection is, did she say air tags?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. She would also say that, that people should really reach out and get help from people. It's hard to ask people for help, but to be very specific about what you need, because, you can say, oh, people will say to you, "Oh, can I help?" But you're so overwhelmed, you don't really know what to say. So to be able to be specific, could you take my husband for a walk? Could you come over and visit? Could you just, give me a little bit of respite or things like that? I'm sorry, Jill, you cutting up a lot, so we weren't able to hear you. So I'm trying to remember some of the things that you shared in the film.
Can you hear me now?
You're
Mhm.
good. Go right ahead. Yes, I can.
Oh,
I can
oh,
hear
you
you.
can. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Cynthia, is it on my side that this is happening, or
I think
where
so.
I am?
I think so. But now it's
Yeah.
good. So
Okay.
I was talking about how you used humor and how you really told people that they should get support when they need it and be very specific about what
Yeah,
you need.
because when my son even saw the video not too long ago, he had seen it on the phone, but it was so different on the screen. And he said to my sister, I wish mom had been more specific to me, because I wanted to help, but I didn't know how to help.
Right.
And so you can feel very isolated. And I was very isolated. It's an uncomfortable situation for many people. Um, as is any kind of an illness, it brings you to your own mortality and your concerns for your own health and how can I help? And some of them would just say, well, he's not going to remember me anyway, and he doesn't know I'm here. So they backed off. So we were a lot alone. It was tough, real tough.
Mhm. Agreed. Have you written a book, or was there a particular book that helped you? I'm kind of grasping, just thinking that people who watch this in replay are like, oh my goodness, I'm there right now with my loved one. Was there anything that helped you?
Well, people ask me all the time, and from the beginning, because there's so many funny stories to tell you that, and you either
Yeah.
are angry or you join them in the reality, and that's what I really want to emphasize: is you can't expect them to change. And if they're angry at you, they don't want to necessarily be angry. It's just the space that they're in. And it's really, really incumbent that we join them. But I did write a book. No, what did I do? I'm a strategy kind of person. I'm an Irish, I'm Irish and I jerry rig everything, it's just kind of my nature. But when I got caregivers, they said, would you stop ordering things and thinking of things to do? Just let's just let it be. And I said, no, I've got to get the new mattress with the coils that go up and down. I did everything I possibly could by searching the web. But there, I took a caregiving workshop once, and that was helpful. What was really big is I saw a personal counselor, and that helped restore me. And I still see her, and it's not only difficult as you go through the journey, it's difficult after the journey. And so many of the things that you need to do when someone you're with is going through this progression of illness, the caregiver needs too. They need connection, they need affection, they need respite, they need to be heard. And so it works on both sides like that. But I know there are funny stories, and I have great joy when I think about him and talk about him. And today was interesting because it was like I was removed for just a short time from this, and it felt weird because I've been so close to having him at my side, even though it's been 3 years ago. So it was a little unusual to kind of step back into it again. So
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Because are you supposed to do it this way? Do people expect this? Am I doing right by it? Just is. You are going to feel your feelings. You are going to have the days when you, one person said you have to laugh to keep from crying. It just is. You said that it was encroaching upon you, but it was silent. And I have interacted with people that I did not know were at a point in their dementia that they are in their own reality because they had a loving caregiver who wanted to keep their privacy, keep their dignity. What you did all your life, it's as a married couple, putting your best foot forward, not bringing up things that should be kept within the family. I didn't know this person was living with dementia because their loved one was just at their side, guiding and cueing and maybe finishing a sentence. And at that point, I'd had a little bit of interaction, but that's exhausting. And the caring person has to be restored too, because you're both living with a brain disease.
Well, it's the whole family. If they choose to be a part of it, I mean, it affects every individual around that person that cares about that person. And of course, they make their own decisions of how involved they want to be. And that's why being specific about, would you go to the grocery store for me? Could you come so I could take a nap? So when you lose somebody after the disease, and you were talking to a lady before me, Betsy, I think her name is, and she experienced, her mother and her husband. She had to redefine who she is, because not only did she lose two individuals she loved, but she lost a role that she had committed herself to. And so when I say redefine, it's to find purpose again, to find you again. Who's the new you? Because you're different. You're going to be a different person with a different situation. And yet around you are so many familiar things that remind you of both those people that she lost and mine with Dawn. And you have to decide how you're going to hold that emotionally. I tried group counseling for a while. I think it's recommended if people want that. For me, it was better to go individual, because all of a sudden people were asking me all these questions, and I felt like I was undermining what was happening. So I only went a couple times, but that is available through caregiving resource centers. We have a great one here in Fresno, and I see they're advertising more and more, and that's very good. And they function on the caregiver, specifically on strategies and that a caregiver can use, and strategies that the caregiver may need for themselves.
Excellent. Cynthia, we're close enough to the end of the hour that it would be polite as the host to make sure that everyone gets to have their contact information brought up onto the screen, because that means in replays, everyone can hit pause and go, what was that? Okay, it's spelled that way, or there's a dash or no dash or whatever. I'm going to start with you, Cynthia, then go to Sri. Jill, I should just ask you right now, do you want people to get a hold of you, or are you on the screen out of the goodness of your heart?
Yes, yes, I would just rather volunteer when I have the time to do that. It's not that I don't care, but I like more.
No, you're not selling a product. Yeah, you're not selling a product or something like that. Oh gosh, no. And then we will finish up with Betsy. We'll finish up with Betsy and how she would like to be found, for my audience to find Betsy and find her podcast, etc. But Cynthia, I remember one of the hopeful parts of your documentary included a person who, on stage, in person, live audience, people are up on the stage, often in duos, because one person is living with a brain disease and the other person is their support, and also they are right in the disease from the standpoint of I'm entering your world. I just thought that was amazing. There was a person who enjoyed, so you could see how physically that woman was enjoying the physical movement up on that stage, and a big hug from the person who put it together. And to me, that was so hopeful that I could easily be the next person. You said every 3 seconds, someone develops dementia of some sort. I could easily be that person. It's conversations I've had with our kids, along with anything else that's going on or that, is a possibility in the future. And I just think, oh, I could totally see me doing that. In fact, one day I asked people, what would you want if you were placed in a care community? What would you want to have there? And they asked me back the same question. I said, I think even though I've never done karaoke, I think I would want a stage and a microphone in my hand, because I think in this moment that I would have the kind of Alzheimer's or what have you, that I would want to interact with people and, and sing along to songs that would still remain with me even after my speech is coming to an end. I thought that's what I would like. And, so even if it's my kids that are taking care of me, I think they need to put a little stage and some sparkles and, lights, camera, action, and just let me perform and take a bow and what have you. But Jill, there was a moment when your husband was filmed saying a 3-syllable word. And because I have cared for people through multiple years of their progression into what I consider deeper dementia, I thrilled at that word. And your response on the screen was the same. You were just saying to him, you said that word. And I just thought, I'm so glad that Cynthia and her camera and her staff, her team, were there for that moment and captured how important it is when you're like, you're there, and you, in your mind, you are having a whole conversation. It's just like this technology that was stopping you, Jill, and chopping up your words. And then you'd come back in and we'd all be like, she's back. It reminded me of that moment in the film. That film very much impacted me and everyone that was there. Walt was there. He was a child. His father had the disease, and it took pieces of their family. And he continues to this day to work on solutions. It was just amazing. So, Cynthia, a little bit more about you and your the way that people can get a hold of you and can get a hold of keys, bags, names, words.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. The scene you were describing is about how we can try lots of different things to reach people who may have dementia. And what you were talking about was there was a woman who was quite unresponsive, and she had aphasia, so she couldn't speak. So they actually reached her through movement and dance. And you can try art. It's different for every person. So lots of things that you can try if they're in the later stages, just through touch or connecting that way. But yeah, people who would like to see the film, where the goal of the film is just to get these resources out to as many people as possible, get people talking. You can go to the website, which is keysbagsnameswords.com, and you can sign up for a screening, and you can show, you could just get a screening for your family or at a community center, that sort of thing. So, and I think AARP is going to have it through movies through Grown Up soon, and we're starting to approach video on demand, and so it's getting out there. Right now, it's community screening. So there are a lot of other resources on the website too that can be helpful. So we hope that you'll just spread the word and keep the conversation going.
Would you just say that link one more time, because it's not popping up in the comments? So
sure. It's keysbagsnameswords.com.
Oh, .com. I can remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jill, what
Cynthia.
were you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to share that they just showed it in Olympia at the Senior Center and are going to show it again at the Senior Center. And Cynthia's joining me next week, and we're at a Senior Center of 400 people here in Fresno. And people are genuinely moved by the film. There's many more conversations going on now and enhanced resources. And I'm really, really happy about that.
Yep, it is a tissue flick. Just walk in with tissues in your pocket, because it's going to hit you. And I'm thrilled that it has an element of hope to it. Know that there are places and there are people. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on about people, even that I met when I was in Texas with Sri. We actually went to Bella Groves, talked to Kayla, and I said, how did you end up here? And I'm looking at this face that cannot be more than 26 years old. How did you end up in this realm as an activities coordinator? And she had a fancier name than that. And just talking about her joy at a weekend part-time job as she continued her degree at university, which had nothing to do with memory care, gerontology, aging, any of that. And that it was her roommate who said, when you talk about your major, the work the project you're working on, etc., you do not have the same excitement and joy and look in your eyes as when you talk about your weekend job, that you only work a few hours a week. I'm just letting you know that is what really, and so she went on to get a degree somewhere in Texas that is a dementia degree. And then she applied for some jobs and ended up at beautiful Bella Groves that is really kicking it up many notches as far as interacting with their residents, knowing their circadian rhythms, knowing that if they feel at home doing this, then this is their home. And we accompany that and we cheer that. Oh, it's just great. There are people who just love to reach in and find that person. Thank you, Jill, and thank you, Cynthia. Sri, how about you? And there's something about Clocker. I don't know if you wanted to mention that right now.
Yes, absolutely. Clocker was the first product. It's spelled as CLOCR. It's a short name for Cloud Locker. We focused mostly on the online accounts, safeguarding your online accounts and passing them on to the family, the passwords. And also create your own digital legacy plan. You can record your short videos. put them on the system and designate it to your family members, your kids, grandkids, great grandkids, so that your stories are preserved forever for the future generations to come. And that's one of the features that we have. We actually also have the emergency tags and emergency cards we have built for dementia patients. I will send the link later on. So if somebody, it's basically a patch that you can stitch it to your shirt. It has a QR code, and you set up your contact number. So if somebody with the patch, we sell this in India, where if people go in public, some say I'm lost, people scan it, and then they can reach the contacts, because there were many cases where people, there's one older gentleman, he was old and he was cold in Delhi. Sad story. He got onto a bus, went somewhere, sat in a park, frozen to death, and nobody knew where to go. And especially think of 1 billion people, the population. Here it's more protected, but even then, having that patch is a thing where people can get saved.
That's great.
Absolutely. We hear those sad stories, and we don't know about all the times that entire families have been just mortified for maybe a couple of days. And also the stories of the heroes, of people who are like, this is not right. Something's wrong here, and we need to help this person. We need them to feel safe. And, and it's like they never committed a crime. They don't have any fingerprints on database, whatever. Yes, my goodness, we do it for our dogs. They have chips.
Right.
What wouldn't we do for our loved one? And Jill, I totally agree with taking a picture along with you, and maybe even already writing down information so someone can read it and go, got it. He doesn't know where he is. He looks like this. Okay. And those heroes, or those people that are about to be heroes, can get on the job a lot faster. Betsy. Thank you, Sri. Betsy, you've got a podcast, and you never knew you were going to do anything like this.
I had to say thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to repost the interview on LinkedIn that I did with Cynthia and Jill about this wonderful documentary, because it touched my heart. I relate to Jill, 100% agree with what she's saying. I go for counseling myself. So much, there's so much to unpack. Like, this could be a whole nother show. Matter of fact, Nick got lost when he was able to walk, and he was registered with our police department, and they found him. But it's a great idea. But my podcast is on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, and of course, Passion World TalkRadioNetwork.com. Thank you.
Yay. And what is it called?
Chatting with Betsy.
Chatting with Betsy. And that's for someone who's been listening to this and they haven't been able to pause or stop or whatever, but Chatting with Betsy, she can connect you with Cynthia, with Jill, and me, and now Sri, if you're just like, Betsy, what was that about? And here she is saying, I've just got to post this out again, and that we could have a whole nother show just about getting counseling when you have completely drained your vessel into the love and the it's not fair. Why is this doing this? Why is this silent disease taking us apart? And lack of sleep, lack of direction, feeling like everyone is pulled away because, as you said, well, they're not going to remember me anyway. Mm-hmm. And here's this whole nother person or whole nother family. It's like I'm remembering what it was like when we used to interact. So I'm really glad that came up today, that Sri told us about the tags. Oh my goodness, this has been great. I should let you all get back to work and get back to all the important things you're doing. Cynthia mentioned something about that she is on her way to another endeavor. So I champion you. Jill, thank you so much for getting back in the saddle, although it's been a while. Sri, I'm so glad that we ate together and had some hummus. And Betsy, I'm sure I'll just see you again sometime.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Sarah.
everyone.
Thank you
I'm so
very
grateful. Thank you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for sharing from your hearts and your brains. Oh, you're smart people.